ईश्वर सत्य है, सत्य ही शिव है, शिव ही सुंदर है। जागो जीवन ज्योत जागर है। सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सत्यम शिवम।
Introducing Your Trauma Talks, an incredible new series that brings live conversations with individuals who share your resilience and understand your story. Join us as we dive deep into the realm of mental health, exposing the truth behind the challenges these remarkable individuals have faced. Discover how you have overcome adversity as these incredible souls take the stage in New York City, sharing their inspiring stories with everyone. Experience the power of Your Trauma Talks on Trauma Talks Thursdays, live as we bring you face to face with individuals who have triumphed over their trauma and come out stronger on the other side. Hear their raw and honest accounts of their struggles and how they have found healing and hope in the midst of pain. Don't miss out on this rare opportunity to connect with those who truly understand what you are going through. Join us for an unforgettable evening every Thursday of sharing, support, and solidarity as we come together to break the stigma surrounding mental health. Experience the magic of Your Trauma Talks live in New York City, where compassion and courage converge to create a space of healing and empowerment. It's time to speak up, listen, and learn from those who have walked a similar path. It's time to speak up and learn from those who have walked a similar path. Welcome to Trauma Talk Thursdays. It's Ra, MrTraumaTalks, and I have an amazing guest ready sitting backstage to tell her story for you today. You see, many of you walk through life every single day, not understanding that you are not alone. You know, only yesterday I was driving and I just want to do a little small shout out to one of my past guests on our mental health conferences, Anjali. And Anjali sent a little picture of a Balaram that she had told her story of a fire. And in that little message, she says, Ra, I want you to know you are not alone. At that moment, just driving, I realized, oh my God. God, I say this a lot of times on here, and I want you to know this. When God cannot come, he really does send. And I felt at that moment that, whoa, there is some greater power, which I already knew because of my belief that God listens to you, the universe listens to you. And this is why I tell you to put more positivity into your life as you go along living daily, because life is challenging. Life continues to slap you down all how, from left, right, and center. And those people that's higher than you are wrong in society, who has power to actually lend not even a hand, but a tip of their finger to you, they will never do that. They will never show you empathy, but in life, they want others to show them empathy. But hear this. This is where we come together, especially on Your Trauma Talks. Your Trauma Talks, Trauma Talk Thursdays, where we bring a guest
where we bring stories of others so we can connect and create our own chain, our own community to help others understand you are not alone. But this, when I did this 8 years ago, it actually was to expose some of the exhausting demons that creates unnecessary stress into people's lives. Scammers, what people talk about. Oh, you shouldn't talk about things that happen in your life. You're holding on. Man, I don't hold on to anything. But it happened and I don't want it to happen to anyone else. So a lot of things that's happening in society when I decided to do this 8 years ago was for people to tell their story and actually let people know who did what to them. It could be the governor who is killing the people of New York City with the tolls on iconic bridges that no one is speaking about. There are the it's a lot that's happening that people of middle class and lower class feel the pain of financially in their pockets and no one is speaking about. But hey, this is what I wanted to expose even more. This is just a little touch of what we are about to talk about. So, coming up, I want to introduce my guest. Sandra is one of those who are a soul full of rewards that reminds you that healing is not your destination, but also remembering who you are. She teaches people about the consciousness of living and understanding who you are, restorative justice, energy work, and the kind of inner transformation she does with others that makes your own life a different place. Her message would reside deep within you and understand how she touches thousands of people. You can become that beautiful soul to do so as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce to all of you Sandra. Sandra, how are you today?
Hello, Ra. Thank you so much for the beautiful invitation and just I really enjoyed hearing your story and it really is true. We are all connected and when God can't be there, he sends or she sends. Yeah.
I love
So
her.
never alone. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit in a minute about who you are.
Well, I am a retired teacher, was a teacher for 22 years, who decided to follow that connected voice that we all have to just kind of share what I know to be true, that we are more, that we are so much more than we've been taught, that our circumstances, that we even have the capacity to imagine. We have lost our way to ourselves, and I'm here just to be a reminder of, hey, everything is within. Just go within, and all the answers you seek will be there.
Wow, I love this. I love this. And listen, without teachers in this world, where would we be? Each one of
Yes.
us, right? So
Yes.
thanks so much for being who you are, what you do. And I say all the time, give yourself a pat in the back because you brought yourself from way there to who you are today. This beautiful soul, you keep molding it into something even more beautiful that you can share that beauty, share that love, share that care, share that kindness. And every word I said there is free. So, Sandra, the stage is
Right.
yours. I am excited to really hear your story.
Oh, thank you so much. I looking back, my childhood facilitated for this. I grew up. My mother was an immigrant from Colombia, and so she hardly spoke any English. And I was raised in an environment where it was poverty. It was people weren't in their full capacity, or at least um in their acceptance of who they are. And so I remember truly seeing people around me and knowing that there's so much more. There's so much more to life than what I see. People weren't the happiest. They were, scared. There was a lot of trauma around me, from even mental, I mean, sorry, domestic violence. I grew up in Brooklyn, East New York, and now I'm here in Hawaii. And I understand that childhood caused me to really tap into who I was or who I am, and know that we are so much more. And so I had to like uh figure out a way to kind of be myself coach, or myself, like, cheerleader, where when I wanted something and I couldn't have it, or I didn't have the means around it, I would actually, in my mental self, see it happening, or try to tap into what it would feel like to have that. And then later on, I realized that there was a philosophy around that, like the secret, or the law of attraction, that stated that if you focus on something, that's what you're going to like attract more of. So I just decided to like really focus on the good in life. Like, even though I saw people fighting in the street, or I saw, poverty in the street, and it was dirty and loud music, and I just kept on, where look at the tree in the middle of the concrete. Look at how beautiful that house, that person, fixed their house. Little things that accumulated to the point where I walked in New York City, and I no longer saw all those things that most people are like, oh my God, look at this, there's a bum over here, there's this. No, I actually just started to see the beauty all around me, and that grew and grew to the point where, when situations happen to you, you don't view it as such a dire thing. You just realize, okay, maybe I need to shift, or maybe I need to focus on something else that is not that, until that goes away. And it does. I just realized that that was how we worked. And then because when you are in that state, it just facilitates for more and more expansion, and more things that kind of solidify that, or validate that way of thinking. And then you start to experience and see more of that. um and so, yeah, I'm a people lover. So when I became a teacher, I noticed right away that a lot of our trauma, a lot of our things that we don't like, start in childhood. And that's when I realized, like, if everyone just grew up knowing that they were so much more, that they are loved, that they're never alone, they're connected to everything, they're a spark of source creator. you know uh I decided to, like, you know what, I'm going to embed that into the children. I'm going to remind them that even though they might not be getting their way at that moment, that they are still that spark, and that maybe at this moment they don't have it, but they could have it. And to focus on not the fact that they have it, but the fact that there is a possibility that they can, and to stay there. And you shift your energy. We all energetic beings, right? And so that matters. It really truly matters how you feel and how you think, and the words that you use. So instilling that into the children, I can see how it really was beneficial, because I would have parents come home, and I mean come from home, telling me that their children are more inclined to describe how they're feeling, instead of just lashing out. Or they would actually even have their parents like, oh ma, don't think that it's not going to happen, like trying to give advice to the parents. And I thought that was beautiful, because again, I think that we are all um inherently good vibrating beings, right? And anything that's not that is just an indication that you're not being fully expressed. You're not really fully like understanding a situation. And when you sit with yourself and you get that, then you can try to shift that, or try to um like get to know yourself better. And once you get to know yourself better, then you can understand where those feelings are coming from. And so to see the kids be able to explain that and even tell me in words I that was more simpler that I can share with the other kids, I really enjoyed it. I'd say that if you are able to be that activator for others to just remember that they themselves have the capacity, then at least for me, I did my part because I feel like that is part of why I'm here. I'm here to remind everyone that we are all complete within ourselves, that we just have to allow that and really claim it, you know? So yeah, and that helped me get to Hawaii, like from the streets of Brooklyn that are not, the most beautiful or the most, vibrant, to here the Big Island where it's like living in 5D all the time. And yes, it is all the things that people say that it's expensive and all that stuff, but again, if you know who you are and um you know that you can pretty much create anything you put your mind to, then sky's the limit, right? And I think that that is really what I'm here to do, is to prove that you are more capable than you can ever imagine. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's beautiful, amazing in so many different ways, Sandra. And you touched on so many little things that I speak about and I love speaking about, especially being from New York City. And I lived in Brooklyn, I live in Bronx, I live in Queens. I mean, I love the city. I basically, when I worked in Brooklyn, I stopped in the city almost every day.
Same here.
And when the city cries, I cry. When the city hurts, I hurt. And this is something that I tell people all the time. You show New York City love, it shows you back that love somehow. As you say, you see the tree growing out from in the concrete. You look at the city, you don't look at the bombs or whatever, you look at the beauty of it. And I tell people this all the time. I had an experience with a friend who I watched where that person is in her spiritual journey, as I would say, because I don't like to put anybody down below. But while I see this person maneuvering through Times Square, I was like, hey, Ra, you remember when you was like that? Ra, you remember when you didn't used to want people to touch you? But guess what? I learned to allow when someone hits you and you pick up their energy and you
Mhm.
feel their feeling. You know who is happy, you know who is sad, you know who's frustrated. And guess what? Every single time, I don't know if a person has ever experienced this, but I know I'm not the only one. A certain person be excited about a building or a billboard in Times Square. I'm just using Times Square as an example. And they're busy, but they're watching up and they hit you. And all of a sudden, you see it with their eyes. And now you have been seeing it every single day. But
Yeah, that's
you're
awesome.
excited as well. Like, whoa. Every single time I go to Times Square, I feel like it's my first time. I heard someone say recently, oh, the fireworks. After years, you get boring of that. Nobody would want to comprehend what I did to go and stand up under that fireworks this year. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When you want to do something and you love it and you're excited about it and you know what you explained everything so beautifully that that's where I'm compacting this to help others to understand. Yo, stop looking for all the negative parts of life, but start looking at the beauty of it.
Yes.
My
And I
mom,
believe that. Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, you're
No,
fine.
no, and I believe that that is that your core essence that pulls you to do that. It's not that learned behavior or the concept that you picked up when you were younger. No, it's your innate self that's connected, that sees that appreciates that.
That is so in depth. I say, my mom just recently, I told her, I said, Mom, do you know when I was selling life insurance? There's people in Queens that never ventured into Coney Island. There are people who live in Buffalo, 15 minutes away from the wonder of the world, Niagara Falls, and has never been there. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
this is what, because the traumas, the problems in life mentally stress people so much. They're so stuck, pushed back into this bubble that they cannot breathe. When their
Mhm.
nose touches a little bit of air, they are pushed back down again. So they can't think outside the box. But if they start noticing, as you said, that little plant growing out,
Mhm.
you would see how differently you would see life. So, Sandra, I have some questions that I want to ask you. And I put some of these questions down, but I'm telling you, I'm having
Right.
so much crazy computer problems as is. So, okay, you talked about being and the vibrations
Mhm.
within beings and us humans, especially connecting with the younger selves. What
Yes.
does it mean to someone who actually feels disconnected away from everything right now?
I would tell them or invite them because I think it's more it it's like, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't have them drink it. It's like you really all you can do is facilitate, all you can do is lead by example. That was one of the things that I was told because as a child I always wanted to be able to help right away, like, or at least be able to touch someone and they don't feel any more pain. Or I like I said, I love people, and I know that we are meant to be more than just sad and upset and not have that self-love. It hurts me when I think of people that feel that hopeless or that low, right? It does, because there's so much more. I know that there's so much more, and so I would invite them to truly start just focusing on stuff that they do like about themselves. There has to be something that they like about themselves, something that they're proud of, or something that brings joy to them that they do or that they have or whatever. And I say, sit with that. And I say, do that. I think that sometimes when we are in one state, it really is difficult to just jump into a state of happiness. That's why sometimes they're like, oh, those annoying people that always just want to be positive. And I am one of the most positive people there are, but I won't just go positive if someone is really low, because you won't get anywhere. It's two different vibrations. So I just gradually can get there, because remember, you practiced that low vibration over years, over months, over, for a long time. You gradually start to introduce the good feelings, and it could just be a, maybe not even a good feeling, it could just be a neutral feeling, like something where you don't mind that happening, or you don't mind that situation, and then you gradually get there. Okay, maybe I would want this, so I would want, and then gradually get to the point where you are content and happy. And then once you're there, um the more that you kind of stay in that vibration, the more it's just easier for you to stay in that vibration, or to see things that will help you stay in that vibration. So yeah, I think just gradual little things that they feel good about. I'm sure there has to be.
Well, I
But some
love this. I love
Yeah,
this.
and
And
I'm sorry, it's just what sometimes it's just even going outside, or just removing yourself from the situation, breathing, or like put your feet outside in the ground, or take a bath. I know that I remember when I've been together with my husband for a long, long time. And I remember when we used to have those heated arguments, I didn't want to go back and forth, back and forth. I would just go take a shower. I would literally take a shower, and I would visualize like a waterfall hitting me, and that would calm me down, and I would be it would get me in a good mood, and then when we come out, I would talk, but it really is, because you have these abilities to shift yourself. It really is tapping into these abilities that we were born with.
well, you said so many things, but let's just go back to where I was saying before, because I didn't want to cut you, but I had a question that just popped in. Because if I was that person right now, you know me, you met me, I'm 14 years old. I'm going through so much trauma. I had to move from my mom's house, come across here. My stepfather was abusive, and I'm here. I'm holding a thing of pills in my hand, and I just took a whole handful of Ventolin, but I recovered. And here I am now telling you this story. What would you say to that younger version of me? Or what would you say to that young individual that's out there right now going through something? I know you said all those beautiful things that you can do, but what would you say to comfort that person at this time?
I would first I would probably invite them to breathe, to just to take a couple of breathers. Um Maybe even take a walk with them. I think that at that moment your mind is not, it's not ready to accept anything or receive anything. I think your body, you need to relax your body at that moment. So I would probably, yeah, that's what I would do with the kids. I would like take a walk with them or just breathe with them. Um and then I would start a conversation with them that has nothing to do with where they were. um I think that sometimes we need to teach ourselves to shift our perspective, especially when we're in a situation that's not, that's not good for us. I think you know if I knew them, I would probably just ask them a question about something that I knew they liked, or something that happened yesterday, or something to keep them, to just really take them out of there and away from that, what's causing them to feel that pain. And then and take it from there. I think it's always very personal when you're dealing with someone, and I think that that is why it's important to just share those skills that we all have, and to remind them that you have this ability to take yourself out of there, or to not um stay in that energy. Yeah.
That is beautiful. And I would say to, this younger self or this younger person, always, I love to let people know is, hey, it's temporary. And this is not just for
Yes.
younger people, it's for everyone. Because many do not understand and know that it is really temporary. Because today's problem could last for months, it could last for a year. But
Hmm.
sometime during the course of your life, it shall be over. And I quote this all the time from this Bollywood movie called Three Idiots. And they put their hands on their chest all the time. And they knock their chest and they says, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. At that
Hmm.
moment when it feels so heavy, so pressured, you want to have that relief so you could continue believing. And you say, all is well, because it is temporary. But you see, also, as Sandra is saying, you need to look at the beauty within and around you, to notice, to be uplifted continuously. Because at times the darkness is so dark you cannot see the piercing light. But also remember, what is meant for you shall never pass you by, and what passes you by was never meant for you. So I have a crazy question, because it's one of my fears always to move far away from New York City. How was that for you? Moving from beautiful Brooklyn, and I'll put it like that, because you ever went into a crowd and they say, anybody from Brooklyn? And you hear most of the crowd screaming and they want to fight the people from Queens or Bronx. But you
Yes,
move from
yes.
beautiful, bristly, bright Brooklyn to Hawaii, which is beautiful and bright, and the ocean is there, has so many perks. But tell us about that. How was that transition for you?
Wow, that was a I think that was training for me. I was born in Queens, and then I was raised in Brooklyn. So I was Queens and Brooklyn, back and forth. Um, but I love the ocean. I really do. It's something about the ocean that really calls me. I feel the happiest when I'm by the water. And so I just decided, because you start to understand that we create our reality. At least I believe that we create our reality based on our beliefs, right? And so then I started to really come across old philosophy of like Neville Goddard, who is like he talks about mental fascination and your power of the imagination and how you create in your mind. And so me and my husband, we really are very similar in the way that we think and on our dreams and what we wanted to create for ourselves. So we decided to, you know what, we're going to start visualizing ourselves in Hawaii. And we had never came to Hawaii. We didn't know anyone here in Hawaii. I didn't even realize that there were 7 islands, or there's a lot more than just 7 islands, but I didn't know that there were different islands. So then, as I'm doing my research, I am visualizing myself in an island. Every time I would be washing dishes facing a wall in Brooklyn, I would close my eyes and I would visualize me looking outside of a window into the ocean, palm trees. Uh, I would uh, every time I was in the living room, I would imagine being in Hawaii. I started looking at the newspaper online, the West Hawaii newspaper. So I started to like try to put myself in that energy or in that space mentally. And little by little, I mean, it did take us a couple of years because, again, when you start to uh, reach for higher or change or try to get yourself out from one level, you will meet all the, I guess, resistance or all the uh, minor beliefs that do not align with that. They pop up, so many people were like, oh, it's so expensive in Hawaii, oh, you don't know anyone in Hawaii, or you don't what was it, there was another thing that they were telling me, oh, the volcano, and it was just so many things after another. And in my mind, I was like, that those things are not going to sway me. That is, those things are not, like, I don't see them as challenges. That's what I kept on telling people. But in their mind, it would have stopped them. But I was like, no, we create our reality. I kept on just thinking of the ocean and the rainbows and just the beauty of what it would be like to be in Hawaii. And I remember telling my I was a teacher and we were going back in September. And I remember telling my principal, I was like, I think I'm gonna move to Hawaii. Like in 2 weeks, I'm gonna be gone. And I had not purchased the tickets yet. But we were gung ho. We were like, this is the last year that I'm here. I'm gonna go to Hawaii. And when we packed up our first box and we put Hawaii on it, um, within 2 weeks, we had already purchased the ticket. We had already moved here. I mean, we were already on our way to moving here, and it, it was such a shock for everyone. But at the same time, everyone was so amazed, and they were actually, they were sad, but they were giving me thanks for just, they felt inspired. They felt inspired to try to really go for something that they wanted to do. And I thought that that was the best thing ever, because I honestly had to put their thoughts in the back of my mind. Because if I were to think about how my mom was going to take it, how my brother, how my friends, I would have not gone anywhere, because I know that, I it would have been, for me to stay with how they were thinking. I would have been true to myself, and I probably would have created something not as wonderful as what I did. So
Wow.
yeah, you just got to stay steady, and you got to kind of like be your own cheerleader and just tell yourself, you got this. We got this.
I think it was a couple of months ago. I spoke about this on one of my mental health conferences, and I told them, and I repeat this quite a few times. I think it was 1992. Home Alone 2 came out, and I saw this kid, and I was a kid too, make a wish on a Christmas tree, and his mom appears, right? And you're like, I want to live there. And through all that period, For 8 years, that's all I saw in my head.
Yeah.
I just knew going through school and everything, whatever I was going through, on my worst moments, hey, one day you will be in front of that tree making that wish. One day you would live in that city. And it happened. It didn't take 2 years or 2 weeks, but it took eight long years because I was going through my teenage years, and you could think about how crazy it went. I had some real obstacles that happened. As you say, when you want something positive in your life, you think a billionaire or a millionaire just happens. I mean, some people are born with it, yes, in a different way, but they're always a struggle. But when you see you start your journey from a place, as I tell people, you put your ladder up, and nothing is holding that ladder except your goals, your dreams, all the way up there that nobody could see. You can't even see it. But you start stepping up that ladder and it comes into play. You're far from the shallow now. Because even the first step, you look down, hey, I'm up. Just like you're climbing up the ladder to get on your roof, to repair your roof or something. But that's how you will come every single day. You might hit a step and it's broken. You might be about to fall, but you're holding on to something else to pull yourself up slowly. Sometimes you might not be able to move your foot from one step to the next, but you're there.
Yeah.
As the song says, I'm far from the deep end, watch as I dive in. I never meet the ground.
Yes.
So it tells you that because you're already there. You're going up and it's your journey, it's life. If you look back, you'll be like, oh, I'm 48. And when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, that was a journey. So you're doing something. I love that you actually put the negatives away. And those who are listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to the podcast from, I want you to think about this entire episode as the positives. Go outside and look for 5 beautiful things without seeing the negatives. And I'm telling you, take a deep breath, even smell the fresh air, hear the birds chirping, see the brightness outside, touch yourself and know you're alive, and
Yes.
taste even the raindrop, and you would see and understand the beauty that surrounds you. Sandra, I love this. And, this is so different that we had someone come and tell their positive story and to awaken others. I want you to tell people who are watching right now and those who are listening to the podcast, life feels so much at times, especially where it makes others feel that they are not enough.
Right.
What is the first truth that you would want people to hold on to understand they are not alone and they are enough?
Well, I actually like to empower people to take their trauma or their challenges, difficulty, and to give it a twist, to realize that they're actually gaining wisdom, they are gaining strength, they are gaining um uh, abilities. Because when you are down, you have to figure out a way to go up, right? And that is where you should honor that. You should honor yourself in the sense of, yes, I went through that, but I'm still here. you know I am stronger, I know more now. And instead of staying in that, oh, this happened to me kind of thinking, you should say, yeah, this happened to me, but I'm still here and I'm stronger. Like, you have to shift it. You have to um claim that strength instead of it that disability, or that negative, like, putting you down. Because that's exactly what happens when you do go through a challenge and you overcome it. It's that you gained wisdom. You gained, even if it's just that you don't want to do that again, right? You have gained. And I think people forget that. They forget to look at their challenges or the difficulties with a sense of accomplishment, actually. And I know that most people would never hear that. But it really is that part of that journey that will get you to where you want to get to if you view it that way. If you view it where that was like training, like learning, solidifying that you are so much more because you had to like draw it from deep from within, you know? So I think that people should not be so run away from their past traumas so much in that way. I think that you should reclaim it and um, draw strength from it. Really.
Man, I love that. See, this is what I tell people about my past traumas. They are there to teach you. They are there to create you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
however you want that you to see yourself.
I like to, yeah, I like to tell people, oh my God, you are a strong spirit. You are, because as a restorative justice, we would have circles with women, and when we sit in circle, we feel safe and we want to share, and so our traumas would come up. People would
Mhm.
just it would come up and we would facilitate, we will hold space, I would send that loving energy because we are all loved no matter what. You can be in the corner, homeless, dirty, by yourself, but you are still loved. That being is still loved. They don't know how to love themselves, but the higher being, the creator, loves that being. If they were to turn around and love themselves, their life would change completely. But that's something else. But I would, when a woman would share during those circles, I would just give them a hug afterwards. I would give them a hug and I would thank them. I would thank them for being so strong that they went through that. And it could have been really negative and really bad, what happens to women and all that stuff. But I really, I just thank them because I know that their spirit is really, really strong, and they need to hear that. They need to hear that they are warriors and that they went through something so that perhaps another soul, another spirit won't have to,
Woo.
and they love that. Like that makes them it makes them feel like a little bit validated in their experience. Yeah.
You are amazing, and this is
Oh,
beautiful. And that goes for everyone. Just give, even if someone is not there to give you that hug, as she say, give yourself that hug. Only recently, Isabel, I speak a lot to my mom, and you met Freddie. Freddie brought you on the show, and like when I talk to them and I tell them, You really got to be strong at times." And I have this saying that I was just telling my brother yesterday, that human beings destroy other human beings. And when you look at some of the, let's just say, the homeless people that's out there, some of them do love themselves. I'm telling you, from a place, but they love themselves that I don't care no more. I don't want to be around the certain people. I don't want to be around certain. Let me just live free. But that's the point. That's the results of how they decide to live free. You
right,
know,
right.
there's some people who are out there. I'm telling you, I talk to the people in New York City. Sometimes you go and you hand them a sandwich or you hand them something. Some people have the ability to go home. Some people, you wouldn't believe it. Even a person who is on drugs, and I'm telling you this from experience as I speak to so many people I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I had one person watch me and tell me, Raw, I've been to 13 rehabilitations. My parents are rich. If I call them right now and tell them I want to go to rehab, they will help me. They will get me out of it. But what I want to go get a hotel room,
Yeah,
get high, and have fun. And
yeah,
that is their continuous life. You see,
yeah.
mindset as well has a lot to play with it. If you want
Mhm.
better for yourself in a different way, changing your mindset also changes a lot around you. Sandra,
Yes.
tell them where they can find you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I am on Instagram, on TikTok is Salico, Salico 116. I did start You Are More YouTube page. And I also have a You Are More TikTok profile. But yeah, I'm telling you, this is just me, how I love to talk about who we are and how powerful we are. But I it's the journey of sharing it is very new, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity, because it just showed that yes, I want more of this. I want more of the sharing of who we are and how powerful we are, and that we can transmute and create magic in our life, you know. So thank you so much. I really appreciate Ra for
Well,
this
we're not done as
opportunity.
yet, so don't go.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
I just wanted to make sure I get that out there. That so you are loved, right?
Yes.
That's the name of your channels. I
You
love
are more. You
you
are
are more.
more.
Sorry,
Yes,
you
you
are
are
more,
just so much more.
and that is so true. You are more. You
Yeah.
know when it's not happening for you, and you just keep stumbling over and over, and you feel as though, like I was explaining this to someone yesterday. You're in the dirt and you're digging out. And somehow you see this piercing light coming out, right? You see this piercing light and you start digging out more because you want the air, you want that light. And somehow you get to reach this part of your face is out, your nose, your mouth is out, and you can actually call for help so someone else can reach out. But all of a sudden, this big vessel comes and falls over that spot now that nobody can hear you. Nobody could come to your help, but you still have that ability to still figure out, to move and find your way out, to get your hands out, to push that away. Because I want you, the reason behind that little story is I want you to understand there once was a man who had the blues because he had no shoes. A little while down
Mm.
the street, he met a man who had no feet. Always remember, I can't get out from under this darkness, but there's somebody who has no container over their head. They're way underneath you in the darkness covered. They are not seeing a piercing light. But guess what? Somehow or the other, they're kicking up a storm and wavering and dancing and partying because guess what? As bad as it is, they're always smiling to make that day true. Yesterday, I was
Mhm.
at the gym and some of the weights I can't do, some of the things I don't do. And there I go, see this guy hopping over with his one leg and he's doing these things like nothing and he's not asking anyone for help. He's maneuvering, he's moving. On Trauma Behind the Glamour, recently we had an amazing guest, Daniel, and Daniel as well told his story of how he lost his limb during the
Mhm.
pandemic. So always think about the brighter side, always think about the greater picture of it, think about the positive. Sandra, I'm
Mhm.
sure if you follow her, you are more. You will hear and you could connect with her. If you're feeling down, depressed, there are so many people you can talk to that is
Mhm.
ready to show you that light and to help uplift you. Remember, Ra tell you all the time, you can, you shall, and you will. So, as a reminder, Sandra, the bigger picture and the bigger struggles of life from a
Mhm.
mother who came from Colombia, and every single thing that comes along with being an immigrant, the challenges. For
Mhm.
those who are having a challenging time right now with all that's happening in this country with ICE and everything with the economy, the wars, and just coming out of a pandemic, what advice and what upliftment can you give to these amazing listeners?
I think that I invite them to do something radically different. I think that they should, instead of stay immersed in all the chaos that's happening around them, to dream of something bigger, to spend their time, or their idle time, thinking of what they would like to see, as opposed to what they're seeing in the moment. because all of that outside of them is just a distraction. It's keeping them from who they truly are, what they want to truly experience and create, and I say yes, I say to try to detach yourself, because believe it or not, those things around you are um they're distractions. But if you don't see them as the catalyst to transport you to where you want to get to, then it's better to not even look at it, not even stay, distracted. Um, because I really believe that we are meant for more. And I think that all the distraction that's happening, especially now, is to keep us from becoming who we truly are, which we are all experiencing that right now, whether we believe it or not. We are all energetically evolving higher, you know. And I think that that's why the distraction is so intense. Like there's so much chaos around us right now.
And
So
that is so true.
yeah, yeah,
That is so true in so many different ways, even in psychology. The
oh
things
yeah,
that the way people saw disorders before without understanding, like things like BPD or bipolar
hmm
disorders,
hmm
two of the
hmm
major disorders has caused like so much corruption and heartache. Now people are understanding it more. People are understanding what abuse does to you. People are understanding so much more. And when we tell our stories, this is Trauma Talk Thursdays, and when we tell our stories, it's not for someone to be feel sorry for us. No, we are not telling it for anyone to feel sorry. We want you to know that there are millions just like us that goes through this as well. And we want those to know you are not alone. And we, when you are going through your story and you're telling your story, at that moment, yes, we empathize with you. We feel for you. We connect with you. So don't think that we want you to brush it off or we brush. It
no, no.
happens to shape you, to
Mhm.
understand who you are and your purpose here in this life.
Yes.
Sandra, I would love to invite you back publicly to come on Mental Health Bites with myself and my amazing sister from another Mr. Dr. Tash Reddy from South Africa on Mental Health Bites on a Wednesday to have a conversation continuous because you have this amazing energy and aura and your messages are beyond beautiful. Would you love to do that with us?
Oh my God, I would be so honored. Absolutely. Thank you.
So I'll have Freddie make the arrangements. And thank you so much. And those of you listening, don't forget to share because there's someone in your life, if it doesn't resonate with you, there's someone you know that is going through some sort of heartbreak, some sort of trauma, some sort of emotional wreck. They're having a problem at work. They're having a problem with something they can't seem to get through with. They're having a million and one stumbles and falls. That if they hear and understand you are not alone, they will
Mhm.
know that, hey, I am loved. If Ra can do it, if Sandra can do it, I can do it too. This is Ra, Mr. Trauma Talks, and the amazing Sandra. Thank you all for doing this, being here. Until next time on Trauma Talk Thursdays, Ra loves you.
Bye bye.